So we are going to start capacitor. So first, what is capacitor? So now capacitor is a device that can basically store the energy. Which type of energy? Electrostatic potential energy. So potential energy in the electric field. So electrostatic potential energy can be stored using a device, and that device is our capacitor. Now how do we define capacitance? So basically capacitor is the device, capacitance is the property. Like resistor is the device and resistance is the property of that resistor. So similarly, how do we define the capacity or capacitance? So if we have a system of two conductors, let us say this is one piece of conductor, this is other piece of conductor, and one is having plus Q charge and other is having minus Q charge, and the potential difference between them is basically V, then the capacitance is defined as the magnitude of the charge on any one. You can take this magnitude or that magnitude, that is same, because we are talking about two conductors which are having equal and opposite charges, and divided by the magnitude of the potential difference between them. So potential difference between them is V. So this is the formula for capacitance, that capacitance is Q by V, or you can also write that Q is nothing but CV. So here we can say that C is the capacitance or capacity of a capacitor. Now next we have the SI unit. So SI unit of this capacitance is farad, and generally what we use is microfarad. Okay, so micro is like 10 raised to minus 6, so 1 farad is 10 raised to power minus 6 microfarad. And what is 1 farad equal to? So this is basically farad. It is 1 farad if this is 1 coulomb and this is 1 volt. So basically 1 farad is 1 coulomb per volt. So that is what our farad is. Now if we talk about capacitance of an isolated spherical conductor, then let us say that we have an isolated spherical conductor, then and it is having a charge Q, and what is V? V is the potential of the conductor or potential at the surface of the conductor. So we can say that it is defined in a different way. For a system of two conductors, capacitance is defined as one charge and the divided by the difference of their potential. But here we have a single sphere and it is having Q charge on it, and V is the potential of the entire conductor. We know that the potential of the entire conductor is same throughout, right? So it is defined as Q by C again, but this Q is nothing but charge on the conductor. And what about this? This is the potential of the conductor. And previously what was it? So previously, like this was the magnitude of charge on any one of the conductor. We were having the two equal and opposite charges, and this V was the potential difference. But for a single isolated spherical conductor, we define it like this. So how do we got this? So let us just go back and check that. So here we define our capacitance as Q by V. Now in electrostats, we have studied that how do we give the potential of the surface of the conductor. Let us say it is having R radius, then the charge is Q divided by the potential is KQ by R. So it is K, which is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, Q, which is Q itself, by R, and eventually this Q gets cancelled and we get capacitance equals to 4 pi epsilon naught R. So this is the formula for capacitance of a isolated conductor. And eventually we need to remember this, that this is how we can write the capacitance of an isolated spherical conductor. Now next we have factors on which the capacitance depend. So what are the factors at which the capacitance depends? So shape and size of the conductor. So it does depend on shape and size. So if we take a bigger conductor, then basically capacitance is more. A smaller conductor, the capacitance is lesser. And now on the surrounding medium, so basically there is something called dielectric. We'll come across that later. So if we increase the dielectric constant of the medium in which capacitance is kept, then also capacitance increases. Next thing is, it depends on presence of other conductors. If we bring another conductor near it, so we have already seen for a pieces of two conductors. So if this is a single conductor and we are having Q charge, then basically when I bring in the other conductor which is having Like let's say it's neutral, it will gain minus q over here, and we can earth and it can gain this charge, then the capacitance increases of the entire system. So generally we use this system only. So there are various types of capacitor, we will discuss them, but generally we use a pair of conductors. So if we bring in another conductor, then basically capacitance of the entire system increases. Now let us do a question. So question says that when a 10 coulomb charge is assigned to an isolated conductor, so this is an isolated conductor and we are assigning 10 coulomb charge, and now they are asking that potential, its potential becomes 5 volts. So what is the potential at the surface or potential of the entire conductor? That is 5 volt. Now they are asking us to find the capacitance of the conductor. We can simply apply the formula. We know that Q is equal to CV, or we can write C is equal to Q by V. Now charge is basically 10 coulomb. Everything is an SI unit. This is SI, this is SI. Divide by V is 5 volt. So basically we will get our capacitance as 2 farad. This is the SI unit. So the capacitance is going to be 2 farad of the capacitor. So now if now further 20 coulomb charge is supplied, then basically we need to find that what is the new potential of the conductor. So we were already knowing that on this conductor the capacitance was basically 2 farad. This is what we just found, and now we are supplying another 20 coulomb charge. So there was already 10 coulomb charge, then there's another 20 coulomb charge. So overall charge becomes 30 coulomb. And now we know the charge. See, capacitance is the property of the material or conductor or shape and size. So if we change the charge or change the potential, so as we do, see, Q is equal to CV. In this, if you change the charge, then potential changes, capacitance doesn't. Until and unless you change the shape, size of the conductor or the medium, we are changing nothing, right? So capacitance kind of remains as it is. That's why I can use the same value which I got in the previous question. So now I can again apply Q is equal to CV, and they are asking me the new potential. So that is basically the new charge divided by new capacitance, which is same as the old capacitance. So new charge is like 30 coulomb and the capacitance is like 2 farad. The new capacitance is like same as old capacitance, and hence we get the 15 volt. So this is the basically new potential at the surface of the conductor. Next is types of capacitors. So we have 3 types of capacitors. Capacitors are, first is our parallel plate capacitor, next is spherical capacitor, and last is cylindrical capacitor. So let us discuss the parallel plate capacitor first. So this is a parallel plate capacitor. So we are having 2 parallel plates like this. So this plate is very thin, and then this is a conductor plate, and we are putting one more plate in front of it. So this plate we are assigning Q charge plus Q charge, and this plate we are assigning minus Q charge. So the plates are said to be having Q charge on them, and now the potential difference between the plates, let it be V. So this is how it is. So in a 2D they will just look like a line. So this is a positive plate having a charge plus Q. This is having a charge minus Q. The separation is written as D. So now let us find the capacitance of this entire system or a parallel plate capacitor. So now I will simply say, how do we write the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor? So we will say that this is a pieces of 2 conductors. So this is how we are going to write. First, we are going to find the potential difference, because capacitance is defined as Q by V. So charge I already have. I need to get the potential. And to get the potential difference between these 2 plates, I need to get the electric field in between that. So first I can say is that what is electric field? So due to this positive charge, this is a plate, and due to positive plate, charge plate, if the surface charge density is, let's say, sigma over here is nothing but Q by A. A is the area of this plate. Okay, so area is not visible in this figure, but it is like this type of plate. So this is the area, and we are like having this view, so we cannot see that area. So this is the area A which is used over here. So sigma is surface charge density of this plate. And what about surface charge density of this plate? The charge is minus q and area is still a. They are having equal areas. So surface charge density is minus sigma. Now due to this this plate, basically the electric field will be in that direction away from the plate. And how much is the value? Sigma by 2 epsilon naught. I am calling it E1. Due to this plate, the negative plate, the electric field in this region will be again towards it because it is negative. So I am calling it E2, and that is also sigma by 2 epsilon naught. The negative sign, we have already decided the direction to be that way. So overall electric field in between the parallel plates of the parallel plate capacitor is nothing but E1 plus E2 because both the fields are in same direction. And that is nothing but sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So overall electric field is nothing but in between the overall electric field is sigma by epsilon naught only. And that is a constant quantity as you can see. Now, next thing is what is the electric field in this region? Now due to this positive plate, it is this direction and it doesn't depend on the distance, it is still E1. And due to this plate, due to this negative plate, it is towards the negative plate. Due to this positive plate, it is away and that is like E1. They are equal in value and opposite in directions, hence cancel out each other. So electric field in this region is 0. And what about electric field in this region? That is also 0. So we can say that there is no electric field in this region. Electric field in this region is sigma by epsilon naught and electric field in this region is again 0. So electric field is only found in between two plates of the parallel plate capacitor. Now, how do we write potential difference? We have already established that E over here is sigma by epsilon naught. So now, how do we write V? V is nothing but integration of E dot dr or distance. So if E is a constant over here, then it will be just E into delta R. There is a negative sign which indicates that as we move in the direction of the electric field, the potential decreases. But here we are not using that. It just we want to get the magnitude of the potential difference. So I will say that E is nothing but sigma by epsilon and this distance is nothing but D. So eventually this is my potential difference and this is sigma D by epsilon naught. So sigma by epsilon naught times D. What about sigma? Sigma, I am putting back the value of sigma. Sigma is Q, which is charge on each of the plate. So positive Q and my negative Q. And sigma is nothing but sigma is Q by A. D is here and epsilon naught is here. So this is my V. And once we got V, we can simply divide that. We can simply say that the capacitance is Q by V. And what about Q by V? So Q by V. And what about V? V is QD by A epsilon naught. This Q gets cancelled and eventually we get sigma epsilon, like epsilon naught A by D. So the capacitance of an parallel plate capacitor is given by epsilon naught A by E. Again, what is epsilon naught? Permittivity of free space or vacuum. If we fill in the other medium, as of now I am assuming air is there, then we will discuss what happens. A is the area of the parallel plates or just one plate, not the combined area. Okay, so area, cross section area of each plate, and D is the separation between the plates. So this is the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor. Next is a question. This question says the plates of a parallel plate capacitor are 10 mm apart. So we know that distance is 10 mm. Then they are saying that and 1 meter square in area. So basically area is nothing but 1 meter square. Now the plates are in vacuum. So we just have to use epsilon naught because we have learned that only. A potential difference of 10,000 volt is applied across the capacitor. So V is nothing but 10,000 volts. Now we need to calculate the capacitance. So here we know that capacitance is nothing but it is just property of epsilon naught A by D. What is the value of epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12. Area of plates are 1 meter square. Divide by the D, separation, 10 mm. So 10 into 10 raised to power minus 3. Then it just meters. So eventually I have used SI units and I get, this will make it minus 2 will make it minus 10. And answer is 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 10 and farad. If we want to convert, we can say it is basically 0.885 nanofarad, or like we can write even in picofarad also. So 885 picofarad. But I'm leaving it in farad as it is. Now next question is the charge on each plate. So we have already found the capacitance, that is 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 10 farad. The V was already given as 10,000 volts. And now I just need to get the Q, charge on each plate. So this is given by Q is equal to CV. So once we multiply these two quantities, then we'll get, this is 10 raised to 4. So eventually I'll get 8.85, the product of these two. I'll get 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 6 coulomb. That is nothing but 8.85 microcoulomb. So that's the charge on each plate. One plate will be having 8.85 microcoulomb. The other will be having minus 8.85 microcoulomb. Now, next question is saying the electric field in the space between the plates. So how do we write electric field in between the plates? It's sigma by epsilon naught. But sigma is not given, so I have to use Q divided by A. And epsilon naught is still there. Now, the charge itself is 8.85 microcoulomb, so 10 raised to power minus 6. The area is 1 and the epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12. So here this gets cancelled, this 12 goes here and we get 10 raised to power 6, and that is electric field. So the unit will be either Newton per coulomb or volt per meter. So you can use anything. This is the value of electric field in between the plates. What about sideways? Sideways it is 0. Next is cylindrical capacitor. So by Gauss's theorem, the electric field at a distance r from the axis of the cylinder is given by this electric field. So basically I used Gauss law. So what I did is I assumed this Gaussian surface, which is also a cylinder, and then I can simply write that flux through that. If E is the field, we are talking about r distance. So if E is the electric field, then E into 2 pi RL, like this length is, let's say, L. So this is flux is equal to Q in. So charge which is present only in this positive charge. So that will be what? Basically, let us say that the total charge we are having on this is plus Q, and total charge on the outer one, so this is a 2 cylinders, is given by minus Q. Okay, so we have just plus Q charge inside by epsilon naught. So E comes to be that. If you see this 2 pi epsilon naught, then this L and R over here and Q by, right? So this is my electric field. Then I need to integrate that, because we know that V is nothing but integration of E dot dr. I want to get the magnitude, so I'll simply integrate from R is changing from all the way from A to B, right? For this region I am integrating. So R is changing from A to B. If I get a negative answer, then basically I'll just make a minus over there. So I just want to get the magnitude. So integration of what is E? E is 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught Q by LR dr. So if you see, all of the quantities are constant quantities and eventually they can come out. So 1 upon 2 pi epsilon naught L Q, integration of 1 by R is ln R. And when you put this limit, you get ln of B by A, right? And now I know that this is a positive quantity. So this entire thing is just the potential difference. It is not the negative quantity. Now, once I know that V is this, so my V is eventually this, what we got is basically Q by 2 pi epsilon naught L, ln A by B. There is a negative sign. So it becomes B by A, okay? So now I can say that my capacitance, how do we define capacitance? The charge divided by potential difference. So charge on any one of the plate is basically, any one of the piece of the conductor is plus Q. So I took plus Q and V is nothing but, so it is Q upon V, and V was Q by 2 pi epsilon naught L ln of B by A. Now eventually this gets cancelled, this goes in the numerator. So this entire thing goes in numerator, divided by ln B by A. So this is the formula for capacitance of a cylindrical capacitance. So again, there were two cylinders, one of a smaller radius, one was bigger, and we found the electric field, then we found the potential difference, and then we said that Q upon V is my capacitance. So this is the capacitance. You see this expression, this is not depending on this charge, right? Or not depending on potential, right? It's just depending on either L, that is the length of the cylindrical capacitor, or the B and A. So what is B? B is the outer radius or radius of the outer cylinder, and A is the radius of the inner cylinder. So this is the capacitance of a cylindrical capacitor. You need to remember this formula. Now let us discuss the spherical capacitor. So basically, what is a spherical capacitor? Spherical capacitor are made up of two spheres, two concentric spheres. The inner sphere is having a radius of A, the outer is having a radius of B. I am going to do the same thing. First, I'll write the electric field in this region, and eventually after that, once I write the electric field in this region, I'll integrate, get the potential difference. And if you don't want to do that, we already can write the potential due to shells, right? So electric potential due to cells can be written. So what is the potential at this point? If you see potential at this point, then due to outer shell, it is K. So let us say this is having plus Q, this is having minus Q. Due to outer shell, it is K minus Q by R. And for outer shell, this point lies inside. And when this point is inside, you use the radius. So radius is B. Plus potential due to inner shell at this point. So this is lying at the surface of the inner shell. So it is KQ by R. So K, charge on the inner one, is just plus Q by radius, that is simply A. Now I want to write the potential at this point. Then I will get the difference. So potential at this point, I am calling this as B and this as A. So this is my VA. Let us get my VB. So VB, this point, the potential due to outer shell itself is KQ by R, where R is the radius of the outer sphere, plus KQ by R. But for inner shell, this point lies outside it. And for outside, we use the distance from the center, which is same as B. So this is B. And when you get the difference, so as we can see, this thing is same. And now it is simply this minus that or this minus that. Now here the A is smaller, so this is bigger quantity. So this minus this is the potential difference. So delta V or VA minus VB is nothing but KQ 1 by A minus 1 by B. So this is the, and K is nothing but 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So this is the potential difference. We just wrote KQ 1 by A minus 1 by B. I am just changing it in this form. So K is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Q is Q. This is like I am taking LCM. So it is AB, and this is like B minus A. So this is my V. Right? Once I got my V, so how do you define capacitance? The charge, which is Q, divided by V, and V is this entire thing. So Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught AB, and here we have B minus A. And this Q and this Q gets cancelled. This 4 pi epsilon naught AB goes there in the numerator, and this is the formula for capacitance of a spherical capacitor. So you need to remember this formula. Some of the students remember it in this manner also. It is 4 pi epsilon naught divided by 1 by A minus 1 by B. If you want to remember this, you can remember this is just the alternate form of the formula. So this can also be utilized if you want to remember it like this. Now let us reconsider all the types of capacitor again. So we had parallel plate capacitor, cylindrical and spherical. 3 types of capacitors were there. In parallel plate capacitor, the formula for capacity or capacitance was epsilon naught A by D. The cylindrical capacitor was 2 pi epsilon naught L by ln B by A. So L was the length of the cylinder and B was the outer radius, like the radius of the outer cylinder, and A is the radius of the inner cylinder. And for a spherical capacitor, we have capacity as 4 pi epsilon naught AB by B minus A, where B is again the radius of the outer sphere and the A is the radius of the inner sphere. Now let us have a look. So parallel plate capacitor is made up of 2 parallel plates. So there are just 2 parallel plates. One is having positive charge, other is having negative equal charge. And cylindrical capacitor is made up of two coaxial cylinders. and inner one or outer one. It depends on which one you are giving which type of charge, but capacity will remain same. Will not get a different formula. So one cylinder or the inner cylinder here in this case is positively charged, the outer one is negatively charged, and a spherical capacitor consists of two concentric spheres, spherical shells. Okay, so one shell is positively charged and other shell is negatively charged.